Today is the 5th of November 2021. So I'm working yesterday, allegedly working the show. And I get a phone call, but it's a weird number I've never seen before. So I had asked the chick next to me, I was like, do me a favor, check out this area code, this dude. And he told me it was Long Island. So like, I don't know nobody in Long Island. I don't know nobody in Long Island. So I did put a ad out on the paper and Craigslist a few weeks ago. But I also do know that when I had applied to IntelliLoan, they were out of Long Island. And then they went ahead and tried to find a problem with me and then told me I needed to talk to um, the dude from Die Hard, John McClane. So my point of contact at IntelliLoan out of Long Island was to speak to John McClane to get a job last December. So once again, it's a code name. It's not a real name. And as a code name, I don't know why they're using a code name. And then saying John McClane when they did it, it sounded insulting to me. If you watch Die Hard, someone's trying to kill John McClane because he's a police officer, some terrorist, and he's running around the city doing all these little stupid jobs to save the city. So I don't know if this person was insinuating that I was John McClane as running around the city like a dickhead, which means that someone would have been putting me in that situation, and therefore he's mocking me because he's a part of some structure, superior structure, that is capable and able to screw my life up and have me running around the city. I also don't know if he used the code name John McClane to insinuate that I'm the guy having everyone running around. Because since I've been doing Uber last year, someone has contacted the police in every single neighborhood and have them continuously doing drive-bys and driving past me. And I just tune them out because I'm running my own business. I was doing Uber. So I don't understand why these people have the right to use the roadways and other people who are doing Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Grubhub, and all these other businesses have the right to use the roadways, but I don't. And I don't know why someone is depicting the fact that I'm running my own business as me being a John McClane, or even needing people running around looking at me, or insinuating that I'm running around being controlled by someone else at no gain. But the formal gain was the fact that I made 100 grand last year. And then after I paid off all the Uber bills, gas and everything, the formal take home was 56,000. And then from the 56,000, because I had to pay off my car, still live and everything, I technically still made under 10,000 or $13,000 for tax purposes. So if you make under a certain amount, you don't pay taxes. Okay, so I didn't say I didn't make any money, but all my money went to child support, rent, loan payments, gas, food, and vehicle expenses. So when the guy said last November that his name was John McClane, I was highly insulted, but I didn't react because I wanted a job. And if I can get a job and they're going to send a laptop to Georgia, give me training and stuff. So the guy John McClane tells me to call him back in January, and we're supposed to have a meeting. I believe January or December. It was December. I think I said it in another video, screwed up the times. But I actually went to Legacy Home Loans in January. And then in December, It was sometime I got on a Zoom call with Anthony Thornton after I canceled the association with the company for him disrespecting me on the Zoom call interview, when he was interviewing me in regard to my listing presentations or my buyer presentation. So that same day that I was supposed to go to speak with Mr. Thornton on a Zoom call, I also had a Zoom call or phone call meeting scheduled with John McClain. So I called John McClain before the Zoom with Anthony Thornton. And I said to John McClain, I called the office number, I believe, in Long Island, but then, or the number that was provided to me to call. This person who picked up the phone was actually in North Carolina, which was weird to me because I thought I would be speaking to someone from Long Island. So the guy says, "Hey, how are you?" And IntelliLoan, whatever they say. I said, "Hi, how are you doing today? I'm supposed to speak to Mr. John McClain. Is he available?" And then the guy kind of paused. Now that same thing happened to me when I was working at CRST, where my dispatcher's name was Dr. Pepper. I was the only one that would call into the office, ask for Dr. Pepper, and then everyone would kind of pause to think. And then oh, that's for the nigger that we're fucking with. So it's the same thing again with the IntelliLoan now. I called to speak to John McClain. He's got to now think who the fuck John McClain is. Who the fuck is John McClain? Ain't no John McClain worker. Oh, that we're fucking with this nigger. Yeah, John McClain. Yeah. Listen, hold on one second. So John McClain gets on the phone. And when John McClain gets on the phone, he's like, "Hey, how are you?" I was like, "Hey, John, I was calling because we were supposed to talk today. Is it possible that we can speak? Whatever." And he's like, "Yeah, Darlington, Darling, York, hey, man, why don't you just go and rob?" I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Yeah, why don't you just go and rob, man?" I said, "Okay." And then I hung up the phone. When John McClain gets on the phone, John McClain mentions my company names. How does John McClain know anything about the names of my companies when he's supposed to be a worker for IntelliLoan Mortgages, and he's supposed to be discussing the hiring process with me so they can send me a laptop and I can start the training process to get become gainfully employed? But that's not what John McClain does. What John McClain does is get on the telephone and begin talking about or mentioning botched, mentioning my company names botched, and then telling me, "Go rob. Go rob." Ironically, I have friends on all levels of society. I'm from New York City. I walk past 500,000 or more a day. If I go to Manhattan, walk around Manhattan, walk around the city. So this is not no small town Long Island city. This isn't no small town Georgia town, no New Jersey Patterson, no New Jersey Plainfield. This is New York City, the best city in the world as far as I'm concerned, other than Shanghai, which I've never been to, New Delhi, which I've never been to, but these are major competitive cities in the world, globally. Cape Town, they're the pinnacles of their continents or their regions. New York City is the pinnacle of the United States of America. It is the financial district of this nation. And anybody that's going to disrespect me for knowing people in such a vast city of people is a fucking moron. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I told him, I said, you know what's fucked up about down here in Georgia, bro, with these people from here? They got a small town mentality. I know so many people that are great. I know doctors that I grew up with. I know people who are lawyers that I grew up with. I know people who work in the finance department in New York City that were like role models growing up. I have a friend down here named Alan who works at Home Depot. And he's a very good man. So for these people down here to cherry pick and hand pick people that I know that didn't reach a certain level of education or didn't reach a certain level of success and try to make me look like that's the only thing that I'm associated with, that's very childish, very petty, very evil, very disrespectful, and it has to be being done on purpose. So I have friends back in New York, which is why I'm in my situation right now. Many of them didn't go to college like I did. Many of them didn't see the need to go to college. And I'm going to digress on that for a second. I have another friend of mine. He went to college for psychology. I went to college for law. And we've always had this issue where he would live his life in a form of Buddhist isolation, and I would live my life by trying to at least network with people or know people on the simplest of levels. And growing up in New York City in the roughest times, I made it a factor in my life when I was 7 that I'm going to know at least 2 people in every neighborhood just in case I walk through a neighborhood and someone tries to jump me or beat me up. I have a place to run to for refuge. This is what I have to think about walking the streets. There's no cheese bus when I was growing up. It was an extra cost. If you're a city school goer, there's no cheese bus. In my city, when you 5 years old, you walk in the streets to school, just like a 21-year-old college student. And if someone wants to snatch you, or if someone wants to punch you in the face, or if someone wants to rob you for your chain, if someone wants to dip in your pocket and steal your money, there's no security. So you have to become streetwise. And you have to know people or you're gonna not know shit. And that's the worst place to be in a city like New York or Chicago or any other place. So the week before I was supposed to contact John McClane, I called one of the people I know from New York that didn't go to college. And even my personal experience and my personal situation, I'm not successful where I am because I tried to go into a very politically driven career field. So what they did was they played politics on me and did a guilty by association. So you're not deserving. But those are not the only people that I know. So why are you limiting my career possibilities or stunting my career growth because of the people that I currently know? Everybody knows New York City. Everybody knows the condition of the world at the time that they're in. Right now we're in COVID-19 pandemic. That's a reality. People can't travel the way they used to. It's affecting jobs. It's affecting lives. It's affecting, well, back then it was a different epidemic. And it shapes and molds. If I go to a ninth grade or 10th grade classroom and half of my school is full of disabled people, because at that time they didn't really have separate places. I'm going to class with people in wheelchairs. I'm going to class with children that are crack babies. I'm going to class with people who, just to a school with people who actually have um, the psychological disabilities and physical disabilities. I'm going to school with people who have psychotic issues or psychological issues because of what was going on at the time. So it's not like it is now where, or it is elsewhere in the country where, first of all, if you're a part of the majority, I'm going to be very clear on this conversation. I'm going to be very, 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 very professional. It's not as though people who live in these predominant majority neighborhoods had to deal with the issues of that epidemic, or at the time. So they wouldn't find themselves in a school with someone with a physical developmental disability, much less a mental one, because those circumstances, for the most part, outside of autism and genetic defect, were socially engineered and designed to be in minority neighborhoods. So it creates a level of superior structure in education. When I was going to high school in New York City, when I first started, I had to go to school with all different types of people. They didn't separate wheelchair people from people like this, because even if we may be in a different class, sometimes I got to push a girl that I know in a wheelchair to the cafeteria so she can eat food, or we can become friends. And I'll say, okay, let me bring you to class, or I'll meet you here. And I'm pushing people in a wheelchair to class with no legs. I'm going to classes that they designated as special education, not because I have special education, but because some of those students had to take regular courses. So even if you're not deemed special ed, every course they're taking is not specifically in a special ed class or a special ed area at that time. So if this special ed kid can't focus because he's a crack baby, and all he wants to do is focus on disrupting the class because he cannot read, or he cannot psychologically focus to read, or if he's focused on disrupting the social order of the school because he's hungry and he's pissed off because when he gets home there's no food, and now he wants to beat somebody up on the bus on the way to the bus home so he can get some money in his pocket so he can get some food. See, these are the challenges of growing up at that time. So some of my friends, or the people that I know, I guess by some miraculous fate, I was supposed to go to college and then just act like I don't know them. People that I went to elementary school with, people that I grew up with, went to church with. Once I went to this school, for some particular reason, some group of people feels that because I went to school for that particular career field, I should have started walking on air and water. And I should have been going home, going straight to my house, never talk to anyone again because I'm going to be this, or I'm going to school for that. You know how arrogant that is? Because majority of the money in this world is made from poor people. And most of the money in this world is made by the uneducated. So how can you shun the uneducated and the poor when they are the source of your profitability? They are the source of your title. What sense does it make to have a huge title when the title doesn't put you above nobody? I met a young Puerto Rican dude, 23 years old, a month and a half ago, uh, at a job that I was doing, and he said something. He said, "Rich people need poor people." I said, "What the hell? Wait, say that again." He said, "Rich people need poor people." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because if there's no poor people, being rich don't matter." I started laughing. So when you have a agenda, and the agenda is to disenfranchise minority groups and immigrant groups, and you're a part of an elite group, or you can check the white box in this nation, your job now is to have a opposing perspective upon the enemy, the minorities and the immigrants. And even if you're an immigrant yourself, you can, and as long as you can check the white box, now you have the opportunity to associate with whiteness. And with that power, you now can begin to abuse minority groups and immigrant groups in the best interest of your own profitability or the profitability of your associates that can check the box also. So I'm not white. I cannot check the white box. Even if I check the white box, if I go to the interview, I'm already a liar, so I'm ousted. I've ousted myself before I have arrived. When in all actuality, if I'm talking to intelligent beings who ever watch this video, black is actually white historically. That's why even in the law, you always need to find the color of law, because color is what matters. The shade. Without color, you have nothing. So being white was always in history a negative thing, because anything that is white gets dirty quickly. That's why when you go to a funeral, you wear black. That's why the best cars in the world are black or red, but mostly black looks more sleek. If you do your research on a molecular level, even if you use a red paint on a vehicle or a black paint on a vehicle for some particular reason, simply due to the black pigment, it is stronger than the red paint because it's non-diluted. So black has always been better on a molecular level. So if I go to college to a career field and I can never check the white box, I'm still black. So when I leave from school, or if I was an attorney and I left the law firm or whatever, and I leave, I'm still black. I'm not leaving and going to the Upper West Side of Manhattan. I don't live there. I could have never afforded to live there. I don't know what it's like to live in a $35 million apartment on Park Avenue. So how can I achieve or desire to achieve a certain level of status or a certain career, and due to the nature of my career field, I'm supposed to automatically absorb, adopt, and move with this white supremacist thought process towards peoples that I genuinely know and care about? I can't tell people what they should do in their lives. If I'm at home reading a book, constitutional law, how to invest in apartment buildings, and someone that I grew up with can't read or didn't make it to that level or is not geared toward wealth development, and they have an issue and they determine I'm going to do this or they're going to do that because they feel destitute, what the fuck does that have to do with me? So the week before I get on the phone with John McClane, I called one of my friends back home. I said, "What you doing, man?" He said, "Yo, the job just sent me to Long Island, man." So the job sent you to Long Island for what? You on site. You work there. I don't know, but they told me to go to Long Island, so I came out, and then now that I'm getting some stuff and I'm going back to the job. I said, "All right, man. Well, once he told me he went to Long Island, in the back of my head, I already know I applied to IntelliLoan, but I didn't say shit. I said, you know what? I see that this is the political propaganda. See, when you get into career fields that are politically stimulated, they're not politically controlled because people have free will, but politics controls other career fields. And politics is a dirty business. But there is a science to politics. And most people that go to law school, they become political science majors first. The downside is they're not learning the true political science of this nation. Political science majors learn general ideas in regard to politics and history. So therefore, they're able to make allusions to time-based circumstances, events, legal developments, and it gears their mind towards going to law school to learn the law. I'm going to use educated terminologies again. So the two terminologies that I'm going to use at this point is passive and active. When you're a political science student, you're actually getting a passive education in political science. Because the active political science that is practiced in the United States is white supremacy. So you're being groomed in the political science degree to get all the basic information. And if you're capable to check the white box, you're more likely to be inclined to not see the seam in the transition towards the active practice of the white supremacy. But if you have to check the black box in this white nation, you find yourself in a situation where the transition is not seamless. So in my personal case, jumping over a political science degree and getting a direct degree in law was a threat to political science. Because by learning the actual law, there's no slow drip of knowledge being disseminated to determine whether this person is going to go the supremacist route. Are they capable? Will they cooperate? Will they backslide and help the black? This whole nation has been built on a war between black and white. That's why you have a White House. It's very simple and childish. But whether or not that is the basis of which they have developed their nation state. So without white supremacy, let me backtrack. Without whiteness, which is the basis of the nation, which is why they have a White House, their nation does not exist. If Israel does not have Judaism, they don't have Israel, because that nation state was developed based on religiosity and association to a particular religious sect. The nation state of Nigeria is a transposition of the actual nation that already existed, but once colonized, the people who colonized them created a boundary and said, this is Nigeria, and we know all the local tribes, and we know about them, and we're going to put the boundary around here and here and here, and we're going to call that Nigeria. So Nigeria also has its what makes it Nigeria, right? If I go to speak to a Nigerian, I always ask them the same question over and over and over again. what tribe are you? And they tell me, I am Igbo. Igbo people will not be in Ghana. So this is a nation that is full of tribalism and different clans, basically, or tribes. So we know what Nigeria consists of. And that's what makes Nigeria special and makes Nigeria Nigeria. And we can go on all around the fucking globe. The point is, here in this nation, the nation is based on whiteness. And whiteness rules. So when you learn political science, you're just simply learning history information in a passive state. But once you get to the point to practice political science, you're going to go two routes. You're going to become what's called a career politician, or you're going to become a legal advisor of some sort. And most of the time, a legal advisor means you're going to become law enforcement, or you're going to become an attorney. All right? So, Brandon, what the fuck does all this got to do with IntelliLoan, bro? I mean, this shit is going on forever. This is why it's so important. Whoever told the guy at IntelliLoan, whoever spoke to the guy at IntelliLoan before me, whoever contacted him after I contacted him, they told him what they would call in politics some form of propaganda. Propaganda is a political tool used in order to sway a group of people toward one position or another in order to obtain an objective. Now you're seeing where this is going. So the people who have actually destroyed my career from the onset were at the political science department at City College of New York. And they ran a political game. And when I graduated my year in 2001, they destroyed the major and completely got rid of it. To me, that is a sign of negative intent, being trained as an attorney and not being trained as a political scientist. If I am a political scientist, I would say, oh, well, this major is a threat because it's teaching minorities and blacks about the law, and they will misrepresent our interests by being too intelligent of the law, because actually studying the law teaches you the active political science that it's all based on white supremacy. And they don't want you to know that. So the political science department shut down my major when the year I graduated. My major had been around since, I believe, 1974 to 1976 when it began. Shout out to Dean Terrell. Shout out to my professor that I love, and I tried to call her and they propagandized me negatively against her all this time. Shout out to Sonali Hopkins. Shout out to my professor from the Onondaga Nation up north that taught us native law and told us that we are supposed to use our skills to help our nation. And that's exactly why they shut the program down. And for some particular reason, when I graduated the program, not only did they just discontinue the program for a year, not only did they say, we're going to stop this program because of some type of budgeting issue and then bring it back, they shut it down and took it out of the school completely. Well, that, as an attorney, shows intent to destroy the possibility of blacks and minorities, which is what the classes were consistent of, learning the actual law, which would expose the active political science, which is white supremacy and the basis of believing that whiteness is everything. That's the crux of the mission of America. And this is why they don't want minorities to go to law school if they will not succumb to the active political science. This is why these people have been hating me all this time. This is why no matter what I do, I did not succumb to the active political science, and they knew that I was not going to succumb to the active political science. And that is why they were upset, and they said we have to shut this program down. If they don't succumb to the active political science by use of the law, and they're learning the law, they're actually becoming attorneys in undergrad because they're taking law school in undergrad. This is a danger to white supremacy, those practicing active political science. So, Brandon, what is active political science? Show me an example of active political science in play that we can easily acknowledge, see, and say we comprehend what you're saying as active. So once again, most students that study political science, they pass their exams. You'll go to them and say something like this. When was the Fifth Amendment signed and put into play in this nation? Well, the Fifth Amendment was put in this time, and then this happened, and then they teach them a little bit of case law, just enough, Then what happened in the 1920s with regard to civil rights, and we had Brown, and then with the Brown case, they did this. But when you are studying as an attorney, you know that there was also Brown too. When you're studying as an attorney, you're studying the cases, you're studying the jurisprudence, you're studying the connections between that and the actual political law that's being disseminated. And then you actually are studying the rationales and the holdings of the case and the rationales of the justices. So this is a different level of education. This is not no stupid ass political science fucking education where you're just going to learn to smooze with people and then say, I'm so-and-so, I'm so-and-so. And then the most powerful tool in political science, active political science, is propaganda. So you learn all of this shit about facts of this and facts of that. It gives you grounding. And once you commit to active political science, which is the practice of white supremacy, now you've joined a group of people who actually are just making money by producing all types of propaganda. Hey, my name is Christopher Dolphin. I'm going to be running for the mayor of Atlanta. I'm going to solve all your damn problems. Can't even solve his own problems. That's why he's running for mayor. He's already spewing propaganda. He's already a liar. That's why it's a bureaucratic system. I just went on a Zoom call a few weeks ago with all of the prospective mayors of the city, talking about what they're going to do to become mayors. Only 2 of them talked about social program reform, and they were both women. No, one was a male and one was a woman. But the male was a young man. I hope he wins the election. Yeah, we want to get political because this is what it's all about. This is what being an attorney is about. This is what you get a legal education for. Not just to be a lawyer, processing papers and supporting the active political science. You become an attorney so you can make healthy change in your community, which is what they don't want you to do. And when you go back to the neighborhoods, to people who are not educated, and you may be able to show them something to change their ways so they don't become statistics of the active political science. Now you're an enemy of the state. Isn't that interesting? Because the propaganda and active political science within this nation has always been the population control of minority and immigrant groups. So if I leave school And I go back to the neighborhood and I talk to somebody I grew up with or I know, and we're all immigrants and we're all black. And I just talk to him, hey man, what you got going on, man? Yo man, times is hard, man. I don't know what to do. Oh man, I'm my baby gotta eat, man. I don't have no money. I think I'm gonna go do this. I wouldn't do that, bro. That's a 5 to 7. I think what you should do is just relax yourself. Go another route. I think if you pace yourself out and just look for some other jobs, it'll work its way out. Don't let nobody stress you to the point where you feel like you're going to do something else. B, thank you, man. Thank you so much, y'all. It's good to just like have an outlet, somebody to talk to. See, this is what they don't see. The active contribution that you make when you're trying to help your nation with your skill set or your craft. So active political scientist is going to dismiss that because they already have the positive or active position of being supreme already because of the status that they can check, which is white. It doesn't matter about your physical melanated color or whatever non-melanated color. It matters what you've psychologically chosen to succumb to in order to be successful within this journey upon this planet. And if you've decided somehow, some way along the way that you're willing to support active white supremacy, you can't take that back because now you've joined a different group. Because you can't be an active white supremacist and still really and truly be amongst the common people. You have to always be kind of like a pseudo spy or something. You always come in and then you're smiling with them, but you're really saying, okay, whatever I know, I'm just going to run back and tell. And that's the point. But whether you tell or you don't tell, or you know something to tell or you don't know something to tell, the point is that once you get into these fields, these people want you to be cognizant of the fact that you're going to transition over to supporting active political science, which is the practice of white supremacy in order to preserve a white nation state. And this conversation has needed to be disseminated throughout this country because the average black person cannot read because of slavery. So their chances of going to law school is slim and none. Their chances of picking up a criminal law book or a constitutional law book or a real estate property book and actually going through it and having the reading comprehension to apply the information, much less get past the first case, is fucking like 0.2%. And then you got those people who actually go to college and they're just trained fools to just read to pass the test. They want a Benz. They want to run around talking about their titles. And you got that small percent of actual intelligent people who are studying because they want to know. And those are the people that they hate. Like the gentleman said in another video, which I can't remember his name, they don't want your children to be educated, whoever they are. That's not my business. That sounds like a byproduct of a form of propaganda that is being disseminated in order to reinstate or instate some form of control in the best interest of an active political science stratagem or program which preserves whiteness, which equates to white supremacy. So as a person that is going to a major, and if you look at the mission statement of my major in college, our major's mission statement was to educate urban youth to the law, that they may take that skill set and craft and help urban youth and help the urban society. So if I do that, what have I done wrong? I haven't done nothing wrong. Because that's what's missing in the black and minority communities: advocacy and knowledge. So if I graduate and I go back to give knowledge, and someone creates a propaganda that I'm using the knowledge to help bad guys, you see, and that's the political science. So we're going to do the example. Hello, my name is Brandon. I'm calling. Is this IntelliLoan, Long Island? Oh yes. How are you? Hey, my name is Brandon. I'm calling. I have my MLO. I already got my license. I want to know if you guys are hiring right now. Yeah, well, we're hiring, man. Just put in the application. We'll call you back tomorrow. Okay. Listen, can I call back Thursday? Yeah, no problem. I hang up the phone. For some particular reason, I don't know who this is. I don't know who they are. I don't even care. But these people feel the need to follow up. And first of all, I don't even know how they know who I'm calling to spread propaganda. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. They did it. Which is why John McClain got on the phone and said, Darlington, because he knew something about what I'm doing with my corporate interests. How does this man from North Carolina and from a company out of Long Island know about my personal corporate interests when I haven't told him personally? Somebody must have contacted him, and by him doing that on the phone showed me that, as in my whole life so far, some form of political scientist with propaganda has propagandized these people against me to stunt my success for some particular reason once again. It sounds like somebody's always been scared of me applying my craft and my skill set in order to help urban youth, blacks, and immigrants. Because that's the active political science. So let's say someone calls IntelliLoan, says, "Hey man, how you doing?" "Hey, how you doing, sir?" "Hey, my name is Brian James, and I wanted to call you and ask you a question." "Hey man, what's going on?" Hey, did you get a phone call yesterday from a guy named Brandon talking about he want to do loans?" "Yeah, man. Yeah, I did get a call." "Did he fill out the application?" "Yeah, he filled out the application." "Hey, listen, man, do me a favor. Listen, let me tell you something, man." And then they spew some form of propaganda so that the person does not want to work with you, and so the person is apprehensive to work with you, and so that the person chooses to begin to adopt and utilize the active political science also in the best interest of the agenda of the white supremacy. So the only time people are attacked directly by the white supremacy order is when the white supremacy order feels that they are a threat. A majority of the time it's something that they know. And that's why recently you see even with Governor Cuomo, he understands the science. Once they pulled out some type of sex act, he already knew, if I fight this, I lose even worse. So he bowed out gracefully, got in the chopper, and got out of there. Because he already knows the political science. He is no longer a useful asset for one reason or another. So for all you people out there in YouTube land and legal land and law enforcement land and all the lands you want to be in, YouTube land, WAP land, y'all people don't realize that you are a part of a large contrivance of active political science. And I have an MBA in banking, so I'm going to grab my balls and put the equal sign and create the formula. Active political science equals whiteness equals white supremacy. That is not a statement based on emotion. That is not a statement based on feeling. That is not a statement based on opinion. That is a formula and a statement
that's based on legal precedent, nation building, and preservation of an established nation. And that's why when I talk to people in general, they don't understand what I'm saying, because they don't understand the process of nation building. You people out here in this world are so busy trying to buy some Jordans or a Birkin bag or some Gucci or some chain or some watch or some Lamborghini, because you are not focused on sciences. And this is why you suffer. The Bible says, my people suffer for lack of knowledge. So these people, like my recent ex-wife said to me, do you know that when you calculate the amount of people in the planet that have a PhD, a JD, an MBA, a master's, you are some of the most intelligent people on the entire planet. You are a target if you are not going to take this knowledge to support active political science. And these people feel that without them, you wouldn't have that knowledge. So you owe them, and if you owe them, they own you. Once again, they feel that without them, you wouldn't have this knowledge. So you owe them, and they own you. And if you owe them and you don't do what they say to do and practice active political science, then you become the enemy. And you see it all throughout history. You see it all throughout history. So we're going to bring it home now. So somebody, hey, I'm Brian, Bill, whatever, James, John, Jimmy, such and such and such, such and such, such. Now, they don't know if, IntelliLoan doesn't know if any of this shit is true or not. Bates Mortgage Group doesn't know anything that the shit that they're saying is true or not. Legacy Home Loans doesn't know anything that somebody came to them and told them is true or not. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty doesn't know if whoever came to... See, this shit been going on for a very long time. Man, the list so fucking long, it's a laundry list. It's so fucking stupid. But it's the same old game. Because in politics, what did I say? The primary tool of political science, active political science, is propaganda. Second tool is media. Right? We went into Iraq. They said he had weapons of mass destruction. You know what a weapon of mass destruction is? A fucking handgun, bro. That's a weapon of, not M16s, not nuclear weapons. A handgun is the biggest weapon of mass destruction because it can be concealed in your pocket. I gotta lift up an M4. I gotta lift up an M16. I have to lift up a rifle. I have to lift up a sawed-off. I have to lift up a shotgun. But I can just pull out a handgun. So you mean to tell me that this man didn't have a right to have handguns? Well, he has weapons of mass destruction. Vague propaganda. Vague propaganda. And what did they use to disseminate the vague propaganda, whoever they are? Media. And media is not just the internet or the TV or the news. Media is any medium of dissemination of information. So Billy, Bob, James, John, Joan, Jimmy calls IntelliLoan and Bates Mortgage Group and Legacy Home Loans and just reads the script. Did so-and-so call you yesterday? Yeah, and for some particular reason, someone's following everyone I call. Does someone call so and so? Yeah, yeah. Okay, this, and then they repeat the script, and then the people go, oh, and then they pit them against you in support of active political science. Now, mind you, just as a digression, political science is relative to the nation you're in. So if you're in a different nation, let's say the Hutus is fighting the Watas or whatever, maybe the Hutus have control over the media and the Hutus are the ones spewing the propaganda to maintain their control and power over the Watas. This is not just an ideology or ideology that is specific to the United States for me to be pronouncing white supremacy and whiteness and black and white and black and white and black and white. It's on every application that you fill out in this nation. What race are you? There's only two fucking boxes, white and black. All the other ones is just to cater to your fucking ego for classification. So this is a nation based on white supremacy. That is the mission of the nation. I don't understand why you people don't get it. I don't understand how you think you're going to change it. Black lives matter. But if your life mattered, then you wouldn't be fucking saying nothing about it. If your life mattered, what the fuck you got to make a poster about it for? If your life really mattered, then it would have just mattered from the onset and you wouldn't be having a rally for that. If your life mattered, you would have already gotten a reparations check. If your life actually mattered, you wouldn't be living in subpar housing. If your life really mattered, you wouldn't have been put 400 years behind in the game. If your life really mattered, you wouldn't be black. You would be melanated peoples. They would call you by the origin of where you come from, or at least allow you to know what the fuck that is. But they've classified you as black in a white nation. So as a black in a white nation, you only have two options. Adopt active political science mentality or become the target of it. And it's sad that there's groups of people, including the majority, that don't have to live with that social pressure or mental pressure. That in order to be successful, you must turn on and despise everyone else. So I said this to myself. I was thinking the other day, these people are black. They get large titles in society, right? And let's say, for instance, now I'm surrounded by the majority. I'm a minority. Remember, we're the majority, but in this nation, we're the minority. So now you're already in your head a minority. You've made it to the top of your profession or your skill or whatever, that the threshold that they've given for minorities, right? And now that you're there, you still look like shit. You can tell me whatever profession you are, whoever the fuck you think you are, dealing with them, when you leave, you still black. If you go to the store, somebody gonna say, look at that black lady. Look at that black guy. So there's no enjoyment with your title. You're not enjoying your title as though you were a member of the majority. You're only enjoying that title at the job while active in your profession, because while you active in your profession, you are active in your participation with the active political science. So of course they're gonna egotize you there. Oh man, you're good, yeah. And then when you're gone, you're on your fucking own, dude. Cause you can't carry the whiteness card while you're during your travels. Yeah, so now they go and tell some information about you along with propaganda, and then they begin to talk about a little bit about what you're doing. Right? They gotta make it personable. And then tell them, do not cooperate with you. So that is the political science. And I had mentioned this man and his nation previously, so we'll go back to that before I move on, because I really am about to end this. Notice that since he has been gone, first they got his own people to persecute him. They were able to mobilize his own people to hate him for the very things that happened in all nations by the control group. They were able to isolate him as a dictator, say he has weapons of mass destruction, and get his people to hate him not for having weapons of mass destruction, but for let's just say, casualties of the political war system. And everyone has casualties of the political war system, right? If 5 people allegedly helped Trump win the election due to something with Russia, and 2 of them passed away in travels with a document, I'm making it up, and those are casualties of war and a political war. So who do you blame? Do you blame Trump? Do you blame the Russian president? Are we going to start putting them on trial now for it? No, because they are at a position in society where they cannot be charged. They are not being charged for that. But they will do the same to Saddam because he has become a target of white supremacy. And he became a target of white supremacy because he still controlled the price of oil, which controlled the price of the petrodollar, the value of the petrodollar, and which continued to control the value of the gas price in a vast continent called the country of the United States. Which means that if that fucker would have raised crude oil to $190,000 a gallon of crude oil, then it would have crashed the American economy, and that was too much power for one man to have. Now you understand active political science. If this single man can crash the economy because he's in control of the oil reserves that actually fuel our nation's cars, then now he is either going to participate, no matter what country he come from, he's going to participate with the active political science of white supremacy, or he's no longer needed. And if he's not going to participate, or he's going to be he not participate, but he's going to do his own thing, as long as he can affect the power structure of that, they still going to fuck with him, because at the end of the day, they're not trying to lose their positions. So the propaganda was pushed upon the people. Why the people didn't say this shit started from weapons of mass destruction? We didn't see none of that shit. Now we talking about this, and now we talking that, because people get emotional, and then they play on that, and that's a part of the science. So the best place to go to actually learn about active political science is to study the Willie Lynch article. The Willie Lynch article is a 2 to 3 page master document of active political science, which teaches basically make everybody hate each other and war against each other whenever you feel like it, and then you feed one side and then you feed the other, and then they'll be warring against each other, and while they're looking at each other fighting over hair and who got a Gucci bag and who chain is bigger and who ass is bigger and who fucked who yesterday and who cheated, and all it all creates wars. And while y'all dumbasses are warring, we're getting paid. So you're Miss Mayweather, you mean to tell me you stabbed this bitch over some dick when you could have been riding it and enjoying it? 30 years. Share, motherfucker. But you don't want to do that because you're not willing to share like the Bible shows you. Right? Like the Old Testament shows you. That's what the white man don't want you to see about it. A man supposed to have more than one wife, because there's too many women on the planet that need attention and love and services, and that links them back to being Godward, because the male has the phallus that stimulates, the rod that stimulates her. And by giving her the electromagnetism through the sex act, it reconnects her to God. That's why when you watch pornography, the girls always say, "Oh, God." So if they stop you from being stimulated by the male, you lose your connection to the creator, because the female cannot be connected to the creator without the male. So it's all still a form of spiritual science, but now it's also a form of political science, because the spiritual science is being attacked by use of a political science. And you people are falling for it every day, and you're going to prison for it every day, and you're breaking up your families over it every day, and you're destroying your children over it every day because you're so fucking egotistical that you don't want to share. As a man, it's not my fucking duty to share. It's my duty to build. I share what I want. As a woman, you're supposed to share because you are a helpmeet to man according to the traditional material. If you're conventional, you're a feminist, you're LGBTQ plus, I don't hate you. Do what you please. But I just stick to traditional methods because I believe in family and I believe in building family, and every building has an actual blueprint. And that's the blueprint to a successful family. So what is the objective? To spread propaganda to destroy that. Vague terminologies. Cheating. What the fuck does that really mean? Somebody wants to sleep with someone else. If you're a woman and you want to sleep with another man, but you've dedicated your life to another man, that means that you want to support another man's family. Because if you get pregnant for this other man, he's going to fight to defend the protection of that child in that womb. And he has that fucking right. So me, when a chick sleeps around on me, I look at it like I chalk it up to the game. I'm not going to get mad and fight the guy. If she made the wrong decision, that's on her. She's stupid. She didn't see what she had. That's not my business. I'm not here to correct that. As a man, I know my position in the universe. So you chose to go build with another man and be his helpmeet, so then you stick with your fucking decision. I'm not going to get mad at her for that. It's her body. I'll be upset that she fucking wasted my time and destroyed my family, but I'm not going to get angry with her because she's still going to live in the land of fucking Nod because she had a king. She wanted another one. She wanted this king and that king and this king, and they can only cater to one at a fucking time anyway. They stupid because they don't know they self in the universe. And it's all being affected by the political science. So now we go back to this IntelliLoan, right? So I get on the phone right before I get on the call to Your Home Sold Guaranteed with Anthony. Right? Remember, I was just on the phone with my other friend Anthony, who I didn't dismiss to prove myself to active white supremacy, so I must be a bad guy, and then he knows this guy. So one propaganda tactic is in political science, in active political science, is simply the use of guilty by association. And when you're black, you're talking to a white majority. So the white majority, they're all cattle too, just like everybody. So they just click up, like it's like you go to the Serengeti. You got a whole bunch of zebras, and you got a whole bunch of giraffes, and you got a whole bunch of buffalo, and you got a whole bunch of rhinos. And if some shit was to happen, like let's say I just go in the middle of the Serengeti at that plane at the time, and I shoot a gun off in the air, boom! You know what's gonna happen? All the zebras are gonna run one way. All the rhinos are gonna go into the water and go under. All the giraffes are gonna run together. That's natural, man. It's natural for people with a natural bond to group in times of fear in the best interest of survival. So if you're in a white nation based on white supremacy, which is going to preserve the nation state, which is a document-based financial associated process. You know how hard it is to create your own nation? Only people that understand that shit for real is the fucking Moors out here. And they won't even fucking respect y'all because they know the power that they'll be granting you if you formally create a nation state. And then even if you say, I'm a part of the New Nubian nation, I'm a part of the Moors and us, they don't give a fuck. You a nigga. You still not white. So you are discounted, and that means you're not valid. So no matter what you do here, you are not going to be validated. So it's easy for someone to spread any form of propaganda as long as you're not serving active political science. It's easy to discredit you and make you look like garbage by any tool of active political science. So it could be just spreading general propaganda of character debasing. It could be spreading propaganda based on guilty by association. It could be spreading propaganda based on behaviors. Right? The only reason that they got to Martin Luther King was because he was sleeping around with chicks, allegedly, in his church, other women. Told you, a man must have more than one female. That's natural. Male, because when I know, personally, when I beat something up and it's sore, they gotta fucking wait. I don't gotta wait. I got needs. And if she love me, she gonna respect those needs. And those needs are gonna be met in an order. I mean, I'm running around sleeping with every chick and acting wild and shit. If you ain't building with me, then you ain't coming with me. And you ain't coming with us. So there's an order to this shit. And then when they know you know it, they try to destroy you by use of active political science. So I'm taken back. You know, this guy calls me, tells me to call him. He's John McClane. That's already an insult, but I'm cooperative. You know, I need the money, I need the career, I need the job, I need the stability. You know, if he's going to help me, I'm, you know, always in a sucker position where you begging another man to take care of you and you supposed to be a man. And then you black. And then once you call them and talk to them and submit an application, some political scientist comes around and the political scientist contacts them somehow and then gives them some form of propaganda to stunt your progress. So why am I mentioning all of this right now? Why? Yesterday I was working and I got a phone call from this guy. And it sounded like a weird call. So I hung up. I didn't want to investigate it. So I said to this dude next to me, I said, hey, do me a favor, man. I said, punch in this area code real quick. I said, what area code is that? He said, Long Island. I said, Long Island? The fuck is, I don't know nobody in Long Island. I said, cool, it's all good. So about 2 hours ago, Max, I said, the guy said his name is Alan. When he called it, he said, this is Alan. But when the call came in, it actually sounded like a wrong number from someone that's in a jail. And the way the call came in, it was as though the call was going to be collect. So I hung up because I don't know anybody in a facility. I don't know no Alan that would be in a facility because my friend Alan, well, the Alan that I know would never be in that situation. Oh, I shouldn't say that. The Alan that I know would more than likely not be in that situation because he would turn to friends before he does anything stupid, and he's educated. He went to Morehouse here in Georgia. Very educated brother. Shout out to Alan. And so I said, nah, I want to investigate this further. So I texted. Now, Alan, we went to Concord Baptist Church together in Brooklyn. And he created this joke back in the days about a case penny. He's like, hey, bro. Hey, Brent B. I was like, what's up? All through service, he do this shit. And he's laughing. I'm like, this is corny now, bro. Hey, B, you got a case penny? Hey, B, you got a case penny? Hey, B, you got a case? I'm like, I don't got no damn case penny, bro. But the joke is that a case coin is a coin that's case. So, you know, if you ever had a 50-cent coin, it's a case coin. It's a case coin, meaning it actually consists of other coins. The value consists of other coins, but it's in a case, meaning that you flip the 50 cents and that 50 cent is at that value on a single coin. Instead, you having 5 dimes or 2 nickels and 4 dimes, you have it in a case. So the joke was, do you have a case penny? And ironically, a penny is a case coin. And that was the nature of the joke. So I said, I want to know if this is Alan from, now I know. So I texted him. I said, case penny? Question mark. Person calls me back. Hey, how you doing, man? I said, hey, how are you? How'd you get my number? He doesn't answer. Doesn't give me a direct answer. I said, sir, how can I help you? Is this Alan? Yeah. So how can I help you, sir? Oh, what's your name? You called me, right, yesterday. You don't know my name? When people start this shit, that's when I start getting upset because I already know where this is going. The people that are doing this are the people that are associated with these active political scientists. So they're calling phishing. So I'm playing, sir, how can I help you? Hey man, I wanted to know, what's your name? Oh, I talk to a lot of people, man. I talk to a lot of people. And throughout the whole entire conversation, the person is, sir, are you interested in buying or selling any real estate at this time? I might be. I don't know, man. Where'd you get my phone number from? Oh, Craigslist, man. You had an ad. Now, boom. That ad's been out for a long time. And I've never rebooted that ad. So somebody who knows that I created the ad previously told this man about the ad. And when he told the man about the ad, the man feels like contacting me in regard to the ad to get more information about me and my behaviors and what I am doing. But he's not calling me because he has a service-based need. Because when people speak to you and they have a service-based need, it develops into a formal dialogue. But this person, Alan from Long Island, is avoiding dialogue at all costs. He's being very evasive. He's asking me particular questions and getting specific answers about me. And I'm asking him specific questions and he's responding with vague answers. Sir, are you interested in selling or purchasing any real estate at this time? I'm working on a few things. So do you do wholesale? Sir, I do not do wholesale. I provide brokerage services. Are you interested in purchasing or buying any real estate at this time? Do you own any property in the state of Georgia? Oh, yeah. I got some stuff down there, man. I know some people down there too. Sir, how can I help you? Are you interested in buying or selling any real estate? So now he's not giving me any answers. I spoke to a gentleman yesterday. He said that he had a issue with real estate. Whether I represent him or I don't, I love the business. I gave him a 30 to 40-minute consultation for free. We opened up into a dialogue because there was a real need for services. Why is this conversation not developing into a dialogue where this person begins to disclose their need for services? Because he's phishing and he's bullshitting me from Long Island. And this is the nature of the reason for this video. So I said to him, sir, you mentioned that you have properties. Do you own any property here in the state of... Yes. Where are these properties located? Stone Mountain and College Park. Well, those are the two places that I would frequent. So he's a fucking liar. And then on top of being a liar, he's phishing. And then he's a liar because he's phishing. And then he's talking about two locations where I would want to work. You know, if these people are not going to call and they want to do legitimate business, I don't need people calling me because they just trying to screw me over or try to meddle with my business. And the only time people do this is if they are white supremacists. They don't have to be politicians, but as long as they practice the supremacy of whiteness and they believe in it, they're willing to do anything to preserve it for themselves because they've finally been indoctrinated in the benefits of it. So they'll begin to take it upon their own volition to carry out and execute agendas and propaganda because they have technically been turned into an unofficial asset of it. Sir, you mentioned that you have other people that are here. Yeah. Well, listen, man, I don't know yet, man. I got to work on some other things. I'll think about it. I got to go. This conversation was a complete waste of fucking time. All you did was call me to get my name verify my name to my phone number, and verify the services that I was providing, because somebody told you about me, gave you my phone number, told you to contact me to verify my number for a specific reason, which is basically not in my best interest because you have yet to open up with dialogue and you're fishing and playing games. So I texted the person. I said, listen, appreciate your call, but due to the vagueness, this is paraphrasing, due to the vagueness of the interaction and the non-information provided, I am not interested in working with you. Thank you so much. And you enjoy the rest of your evening. I don't know why these people hate me so much, whoever these people are, these ghosts. But knowledge is power. If you ever get a chance to read the autobiography of Frederick Douglass, I believe it's Frederick Douglass. When he was like 8 years old, he was transferred to slave owners in Delaware. And because he was a child, the white slave owner wife, she took to him with motherly nature, even though she knows the case. So one day the husband was away, according to the autobiography. And when the husband came back, he witnessed the wife teaching Frederick to read. And the husband said, what are you doing? Don't teach him to read. If you teach him to read, he will know the definition of the words. He will then realize he is not a slave. And if he realizes he is not a slave, then he realizes he's a young man or he's a boy or he's going to become a man. And then you've basically disrupted the order of the supremacy of slavery, which is what we're still under today. They've just changed the names. So I mention all this shit because I'm not here to disrupt their system. See, when you're on the defense for no damn reason, just because you're a bigot supremacist, you have to twist all behaviors into something negative because you are living a lifestyle of what's that called again? When you attack first, preemptive strike. As long as you're in a position of preemptive strike continuously, you know that you're always one step ahead. And if you're trying to control an opponent, like chess, you always want to be the person that goes first. So I don't care on the board where you sit. You can sit white, you can sit black, but white gonna go first. You could be black on the white side and white on the black side, but white go first. Preemptive strike, which is a tool of active political science. So all you political scientists out there that think that you really gain some knowledge with your degree, you didn't learn shit until you get to law school. And then you learn the law and where it comes from, the origins of it, and where it stems from, and what the benefit of it is. And when you learn all of that, you learn that it's all supremacy, white supremacy. That doesn't mean that having laws are bad. All the laws are the 10 commandments on fucking steroids. So you should be following the 10 commandments. And if you've read your Bible, Jesus told you when they tried to usurp him with stupidity. If we got 10, which is the best? And he's the best. So he gave them the best answer. I give unto you 2 new commandments. Fuck those 10. Love God, the Creator, with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. And you can't do those two things if you've never read the Torah, the Old Testament. You can't do it if you've never read the Bible. You can't do it if you don't give a shit about the universe and where you come from and how your place in it. And then therefore, if you don't even do that, you ain't even going to be able to follow the 10 Commandments to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So all you're going to do is be a creature being pushed around by scientists that use politics to get bread off of your slavery, off your labor, and then live in hell. Because every day you at war with this, and every day you at war with that. You at war with your husband today. You at war with everybody else but your slave master. You at war with this guy. You at war. There's two kids fighting over a street corner. This guy's over here fighting over a chain. This dude, stupidity. Because you have yet to investigate the nature of the system of which you live in. You have yet to investigate the nature of the people in control of it. And you have yet to investigate your position within it. So suffer. And I'm going to end this conversation and this video with this last tidbit of knowledge. Because for the last 20 years, I have my head in books for all those haters out there who think I'm a dumb shit. Wasn't until I was getting my MBA in banking, because I've already been to law school twice, that I realized the truth. See, I always thought, because I was a legal student in undergrad, that the banking system was created to sustain the legal system. And to me, that makes sense. Because the law is balance. The law is jurisprudence. The law is regulation. The law is preservation. And I ain't talking about white supremacy and all that garbage. I'm talking about civilization. All civilizations need order. A banker has to follow the orders. Because they are working with the public. But when I got my master's degree, my MBA, I learned the truth. That the legal system, I'll use legal terminology, the legal fiction was created to sustain the banking fiction. Now the formula has been reversed and the truth deduced. That is why they don't give a fuck about creating social programs. That is why they don't give a shit about getting psychologists and sociologists out here teaching people the truth of themselves and the power of their minds. That is why they don't want to compensate people and put them in a position where they teach them the value of reading, of knowledge, of going to school. Because if people will focus more on learning and educating themselves, they wouldn't be stuck in creature comforts and fighting each other over the simplest dumb shit every day. Nigga, you put the rate down like that? Damn, you mad? Yeah, man, what's wrong with you? I'm angry, man. I came in late. Man, you don't be coming around here throwing down that rake like that, man. You might hit me. Nigga ain't even trying to hit him. But he's bitching about what could possibly happen. And they sit at work fighting all day, arguing back and forth until it's time to go home. Because they're stuck in what the Bible says. What? They're stuck with the mark of the fucking beast in their head, bro. And in their hands. Niggas is looking for the chip. There's no chip. How you as a man thinketh, bro, so is he. So this message is to all my haters out there. You a hater because right now I'm not the best quote unquote black man in America. I don't want to be. I think that we all have something genuine within us that we're supposed to be sharing with the world, and as we all share, it builds us up. But that's not the basis of how the system is being sustained. So all my haters out there hate me because I am intelligent. The only school that I have not formally been to gain accolade, credential, and documented credits is medical school, pilot school, and sailor school. I've been through every other school, whether it be through apprenticeship, active participation, or formal knowledge. And that makes you a threat when you don't want to, I can't check the white box. But when you actively choose to not support the active political science. I've been wanting to make these videos for a very long time, and I think that that's the problem. People don't want the true, intelligent black male with the credentials. I got my documents. I got all my paperwork. I got all the educational accolades documented by institutions of education to prove that what I'm saying to you is not stupid. Maybe I don't have the PhD, but I already have the JD education, and then I already have the MBA, and then I already have all the other formal knowledges of whatever. I have served my country as a veteran, so I do understand the need to preserve military presence. I do understand how to maintain a nation. And I have my street knowledge, and I have my spirituality. And that makes me a threat because I can't check the white box. Because if I could ever check that white box, I would have been a billionaire already. And it's sad that when you actively choose not to support active political science, they begin to use political science stratagem to destroy your life until you submit to it. Because they don't want educated blacks helping the profit or changing the profit cycle, because it's all blacks that are making the profits for these people. It's not whites. They're keeping the machine. Oil, they're the oil. The whites are the machine, the oil machine, the oil in the machine, because they get recycled, but every time they get recycled, they refresh. The blacks are the dirty crud at the bottom nobody wants. The garbage in the filter that needs to be removed. And once all of the garbage has been accumulated at the bottom, because the garbage is needed. When you put oil into an engine, it has what is called detergents. And the detergents actually dry out the oil without a stabilizer. So if the whites are the oil with detergents, they're going to add a stabilizer, and whatever could not be stabilized and becomes the crud will fall to the bottom, and that's the blacks. And at the end of the day, if you're the crud in a system, you only have two choices: stay the crud or support what lubricates. And it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't have to feel like you know somebody since third grade, and because you got a title, you're supposed to just walk past them from now on like you don't know them. And I don't know why someone will put that type of pressure on another being. If you want this, you can't do this. You can't do that. You can't go here. You can't go there. Then they'll make it look like it's the worst thing ever. Well, if you do this, you can't go over here, because if you go over here, then I don't want to work with you no more. But that's who are you? Like, why are you so vested in me that you telling me what to do and I can't tell you what to do? Why are you so vested in me that if I go, let's say I don't go to strip clubs. Let's say I did go to Magic City. You got people following me around the Magic City to make me to tell you back, hey, yeah, he went to Magic City. Who are you? But if you're going to Magic City, I don't know. And that's not my damn bit. I don't care. But if you're going, and if you don't go to Magic City, maybe you go to Cheetah's. That's a more upscale place. You can check the white box. You go to Cheetahs, I'm not following you around. I'll check the black box. If I go to Magic City, you got people following me around to see if I went to Magic City and tell you he went to Magic City, and then you make up a story about what happened, why I'm going. He's probably going to Magic City because he's trying to fill in the blank. But I don't have a right to say, well, this white man is going to Cheetahs because, and then I fill in the blank, and anybody believe me. See, that's when you have political power. So in order for political science to be applied, there have to be people in political position to apply political power in order for the tools of active political science to actually work. The reason why people are career politicians, not all people, but for the most part, is because it's very easy to live by selling lies. You're gonna give me $100,000 for telling you what I'm gonna do, and I'm not even gonna do it. I don't even have to. At least if in financial markets, somebody give me $100,000, I gotta bust my butt to make them a return. And if I don't make them a return, then they can sue me. Or if I don't make them a return, they can ask why, and I have to come up with a proposal if we're going to reinvest, or I have to come up with a reason why I didn't make it. I got to show somebody something. In politics, you ain't got to show nobody shit. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to be the great hope of whatever this and that and the other. Then as soon as you get in there, you ain't got to do shit, but you're getting a check. You're getting a salary. You're getting funding from people who have contributed to your campaign. And you don't got to give it back. If you check the white box and you support the active political science. So since 2001, I've graduated from the respectable Urban Legal Studies program headed by Dean Terrell and some of the most astute attorneys in the state of New York that I've ever met. And because they don't like me, and people that I know that have not been as educated as me, they use their scientific processes of politics to destroy, the same way they destroyed our prestigious major to educate minorities in the law, is the same way they have been destroying my life by use of those stratagem since. And they've been doing it in the world. And nobody who hates themselves and is not willing to fight against that power structure is going to stick around, because they'll look at you and say, oh yeah, well, maybe we fucked up by helping these people learn. And that's what they want. They want them to feel guilty for teaching you this knowledge. They're just basically trying to justify their hate and destruction of the major, but what they got to do is follow the people who went there and then fuck up those that they want to fuck up, and keep showing them. See, niggers, I told you shouldn't have showed these guys this stuff. Look at this guy, he's fucked up. But you could be doing that with them and them and them and them and them. You're not doing it to them. You're doing it to those that you choose to keep justifying. This is why we did it. This is why we did it. But the only reason you gotta do that is because it's bullshit. It's been all propaganda. You fucked up a good thing on purpose because you a fucking white supremacist. And that's why you're running behind and keep running behind and keep doing the same shit over and over. You're guilty, motherfucker. Admit it. Stop playing around, man. You're guilty of destroying a good thing, and you're guilty of destroying good people. Because, like Bob Marley, I told a guy the other day, like Bob Marley said, we're coming in from the cold. We're coming out of fucking chattel slavery without a choice, without a blueprint, and you just automatically say slavery is over, and we're just gonna act like white folk. We know everything. We know about financial markets, and we know about all the jobs, and and y'all not coming down teaching nobody nothing, because you don't even want them to do that shit. You want them to fall and be the crud. That is the standard. So for all those people that have destroyed my life up until this date on purpose using political science, for all the people that have been using propaganda to destroy my image and to destroy me with other people and keep having people messing with me because they follow me around. I went to this property the other day that I got, and this guy said he's going to help me do some work on the property. I think I did a video on that already. So we're going down the street, the road, and I'm supposed to make a left. I thought the guy was going to make a left with me because he met me 15 miles north from there. But he was making a right. So when I saw him put his right signal on, I looked ahead of me, and there was a white male in a pickup truck. He pulled up to the stop sign, looked at me, because I was right in front of him, and then the guy in the other pickup was right behind me. And the white guy does this. The old white guy in the pickup truck across from me does this. When's the last time we saw that? Talking to a guy, a friend the other day. Last time I saw that hand movement, that hand gesture, was in the Malcolm X movie when they were all outside of the court and the guy got beat up in the court and Malcolm went in there and they asked Malcolm to disseminate the Muslims, and he did that hand gesture and everybody just moved without speaking. And that's exactly what the white man did. He's showing me, we don't like you, you're an intelligent nigger, you're from the north, we don't want you here because you're an intelligent nigger, and you're going to educate the niggas we got down here, and we see you as a threat. We've studied you because we're faggots, and we ain't got nothing else to do. We ain't have to fuck with you at all, and you probably would have been a dumb shit happy at the fucking warehouse. But we decided to fuck with you, and now you know of us, and now we hate you, and now you're realizing that the people in your history were rightfully positioned in their ideologies, and you have enough intelligence to correlate, so now we hate you even more. See, these people create their own enemies because they're a warlike people. That's who they are. That's who they always have been. And if they don't have a war to fight, they'll create one. If they don't have an enemy, for some particular reason, they find a way to spiritually develop one because of their own insecurities. And those insecurities are not my fault. You don't want niggers moving to Jasper County? What the fuck does that got to do with me? That's your problem. My goal is to make sure that my daughters and my son and my women, if they was on point with me, are taken care of. My job is to make sure that my children are educated. My job is to make sure that my genetic line thrives on the planet, because as far as my God goes, my book goes, it says that my first commandment is to be fruitful and multiply so that my days are long on the earth. That's all I'm doing. All this, I don't want the nigger to have land in Jasper County. I don't want niggers moving to Marietta. I don't need niggers moving to Woodstock. Niggers are moving here. Niggers, we can't control the niggers. See, that's not my fucking problem. That's not my problem. The niggers are going to law school. The niggers are reading now. The niggers are becoming so intelligent. What if the niggers get together? So you create a new political science program to redistribute criminality into the music, and then get the kids to fucking jump into it and the women to jump into prostitution by creating a COVID pandemic. Everybody losing their jobs. They're free willy with $1,500 so they can go take the $1,500 and do unscrupulousness to make up more money. And now they're living in the land of Nod, because that's not wealth. That's not professionalism. That's not careerism. That's not going to be a long-term plan where you usher your own people into professionalism and having these black chicks walking around with pink hair. And that's not a political science. You people that call yourselves black in this nation need to wake up. And you need to realize that there are people out here in this world that are highly educated. Whether they're a specialist in one craft or many like me, these are the people that you need to gravitate toward. Instead of running down to fucking Magic City and wanting to shake your ass for a fucking dollar, why don't you run to a real estate office? Why don't you run to a school to be a technician at a hospital? Why don't you run to do something wholesome so that your genetic line is fruitful to multiply on the earth? Oh, but see, y'all not spiritual people. You're not following the first commandment of Christ, to love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. If you're not fucking doing that, you already lost. So you can't love your neighbor as you love yourself. And the bad part is it's difficult for black people to want to be that way when they're still captive, and that's what they're truly spiritually rebelling against. I don't want to be a part of this system. They've enslaved us for 400 years. And then the political scientists is so intelligent that they use your own desire to hate them to win still. They don't want to amalgamate with us because of slavery. Good. And they'll remain crud. Perfect. You know, Mr. Burns in The Simpsons says, excellent. And fucking dumbass Homer Simpson says, exactly. It is exact. It is precise. Y'all people need to wake up. And all the people that hate me, let me tell you something. You're wasting your time. Because from I was a little boy, I've been touched by the Creator. And I didn't think so for a while. I had to grow up rough when I was real small, and then I made a few statements in the ether, and I realized something. But by the time I turned around 13 and I was working at the about 16, 17, I was working at the library, and I prayed to God, asked him, to lead my path. I started to see a lot of destruction. I got 2 guns pulled on me in less than 36 hours. Got robbed twice. One by the Brooklyn Children's Center, one right in front of the church. Once I really and truly atoned and accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior. And then when I came down here, I formally got touched by God. Because I was in isolation and my friend died, and I read the entire Bible and I prayed to God without ceasing for 36 hours and begged for a touch from heaven. And I fell on my face and I was afraid. But not a lot of people knock. Not a lot of people ask. They don't seek no spirituality. And the more spiritual you become for some particular reason, the more these people jump out and spread more propaganda. So the real question is, who the fuck are they for real? And I'm not going to digress into that conversation. So you people who want to call IntelliLoan and lie on me and make me look ridiculous, like I'm a stupid fucking cab driver for the man so I could be humiliated in New York. You people that been running around the whole United States lying on me, saying I'm doing the wrong thing because I'm a nigga, I'm black, and I won't support the white supremacy. And I got the knowledge of which I just spewed on this video. You those people who see me as a threat because I have all of these high top credentials, but I'm black and I won't support the active political science. That's not my insecurity. It's yours. So whatever you choose to do, I'm going to tell you right now. Like Jay-Z says, I will not lose. And the reason why I won't lose is because for some particular reason, when I was a boy, I planned for this. I kept on a straight path. So if you want to make me look like I've been on the wrong path because I'm a nigga, keep trying. Because the rest is in the hands of the Creator. Because I've been following him the whole way. No bullshit. So let's go. It's a spiritual warfare now. It's no longer psychological. And I'm equipped for it and I'm ready. And y'all know I'm ready. All the shit that y'all done downloaded off my phone, watching what I'm reading and what I know, I already know you know. But I already know what you know. And you know what I know. And what we know We should really just be just chilling and be friends. But you people want war because I'm black and I'm not white. You see me as a threat because of your insecurity, because you don't want me to know. And you didn't want us to know for over 500 years. So y'all passed laws that we can't read for 400 because you don't want us to have access to knowledge. But you know I have the knowledge. So don't be afraid that I have the knowledge. Just be fucking thankful to God that I'm not using it.